Pokemon has trademarked Celebration Collection. This is a hint at a possible new 2026 TCG set. I'm on the PokeGuardian. They broke the news. Pretty exciting. Going into 2026, this would be Pokemon's 30th year anniversary. Highly anticipated by the fans. Highly anticipated by me. 30th year anniversary, new Pokemon game and generation on a new console, Switch 2. 2026 is that year. 2026 is that guy. If you know me, I've been beating the drum for Pokemon ports a very long time. For me, it really comes down to accessibility. There's also this like magical expectation, right? This promise of Pokemon games to all be interconnected, right? When I'm playing one game, I want to be able to use those Pokemon, or at least imagine that I could use those Pokemon in another game. And we've seen different eras of this, and for a while, 3DS, even early into the Switch's life span, pretty much every single Pokemon game was either available. Yeah, pretty much. I think every single Pokemon region was accessible on the 3DS. Region. Not every single game, but every single region could be played, whether it's the original or the remake, on the 3DS, or at least the DS systems. Like I had a DS and a 3DS, and I could play every single Pokemon region, and that was magic. That was a golden era for me specifically as a Pokemon fan. And let's pull this up right here. And then as we moved into the Switch era, right? Pokemon Bank got connected to Pokemon Home, but then something happened where all of a sudden Pokemon Bank, Pokemon Transporter, these things I don't think can be purchased or downloaded with legal means, right? I don't and other games that were. And I'm talking about the Pokemon ports. That's if I haven't said it, the Pokemon ports is what I want to talk about today. Pokemon Gold, Silver, Crystal, the Gen 2 games, and then you have the Gen 1 games, Red, Blue, Yellow, and even Green version. Those were available on the 3DS. Those are not easily, I'll say, available any longer on the 3DS. Like, who the heck is playing the 3DS in 2026? My issue and my hope, right, for 2026 and the 30th year anniversary of this Pokemon franchise is that we have and we are given easy access to play these beloved Pokemon games. Gens 1, 2, 3 at a minimum, I'm expecting to see make their way over to the NSO. Gens 4 and 5 and maybe even 6 and maybe even 7, all those DS games, I'll talk about those in a little bit because I think there is some hope for those to even come to the Switch because of some dual screen patents that exist for the Switch 2. But if we're going to hone in on just Gens 1, 2, and 3, right? Again, the headline from PokeGuardian says, Nintendo Creatures and Game Freak trademark Celebration Collection, hinting at a possible new 2026 TCG set. That is most likely. Apparently, the patent is Class 28. Games, toys, playthings. This is where TCG falls under. So there's really no association with the video games. And I do think this is a song that I've seen time and time again. A new patent is announced, and it's fun to think about, could this be for a new game? Could this be for a new remake? And it's always just for a TCG set. I'm not losing any sleep over this, right? But why you should be excited is because Celebration Collection could also be a tie-in to a release of a bunch of ports. Also, it's the 30th year anniversary. Like, I've been for 4 years now saying we're going to be getting ports. And it could have happened a long time ago. It absolutely could have. But about a year ago, I got the memo and I said, you know what? I think they're holding their cards to release some ports in 2026 for this big celebration. I think that's going to happen. The precedence is that during the 20th year anniversary for Pokemon, that is when Generations 1 and 2 games were ported to the eShop on the 3DS. So that's the setup, right? What could we see? What do I want to see? Why is this even important? Again, I think this is important because of accessibility. I think this is important because, yes, while I can, and I might even have currently, the ports, I might have an emulator on some sort of device that allows me to play any of these Pokemon games. They're not easily accessible. They're not. And again, even if there are some workarounds, I would much rather be able to play seamlessly, legally. I'll pay the money. I'll pay the $10. I'll pay the, what is it, $50 a year for like the whole bundle pack for online. I'll pay that. I'm not hiding anything. I'll pay that. That's easy. I'll pay that to play Pokemon games that I already play. I've got all these cartridges in my desk over here. And I'm starting to worry that they're going to start disintegrating. They're going to hit their half-life. You know? That these I can't even, like, I have the cartridges for Heart Gold Soul Silver for Emerald version, but I can't charge my Game Boy SP. And I know that you can, there are other ways to enjoy these games, but what I'm after is the seamless experience of playing those games on my Switch 2. It's out of reach, or I'd hold it up right now. I want to be able to play that and then shoot these things right into Pokemon Home. I want to play Pokemon Emerald. I want to download Pokemon Emerald, play through my game, and then shoot those Pokemon, Rayquaza, Blaziken, Swampert, Cacturne, right? Milotic, Flygon. I want to shoot those into Pokemon Home and then get access to those Pokemon in Pokemon Champions, right? Not only that, but there are so many, and this is, again, what I'm about to say. We saw this with the Gens 1 and 2 ports on the 3DS. Those games, with their ports, unlocked access to Pokemon that were essentially unavailable for 20 years. For the first time, you could get Celebi in the Ilex Forest. You could get it in Crystal version, right? You could get a Surfing Pikachu in Yellow version. There are so many events in mythical, legendary Pokemon in Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire Red, and Leaf Green. This is just the Emerald page. Not only could we go to, could we get the Eon ticket, right? I think it's the Faraway Island. We could go here to get Latios. We could go, no, it's the Faraway Island is where you get Mew. And there's like official Sugimori art, key art of this event that has been unavailable to anyone who doesn't cheat, right? Like, I have my Emerald version over there. There's no way I can get this. You could get this. They could unlock this. You could get Mew. You could get Lugia at Naval Rock. Ho-Oh at Naval Rock. You could get Deoxys on Birth Island, right? It's been long enough. All of these Pokemon, these, I mean, this literally would feel like brand new content, I think, to anyone who got their hands on these ports, right? If Pokemon wants to do something that would really put a smile on an old man's face, right? This guy. They're going to port Gens 1, 2, and 3. They're going to make these events available. Think about all the e-reader events and like battles, right? If they unlocked all those e-reader, all that e-reader functionality, all those events, the berries, the trainer battles, wild encounters, and they just unlocked all of those for a normal playthrough, this game becomes a new experience. This game becomes a new experience separate from base Emerald and the Emerald that we've all enjoyed for, 25 years. But it also becomes a different event, or it becomes a different experience from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Like, this is why we need ports. When I'm yelling about ports, it's not because it's not just because I want to play it on the game, like on my Switch 2. That is part of it, right? I have to buy like a third-party system in order to enjoy these games right now. But I also want to be able to take these Pokemon, have these experiences with all these new legendaries and mythicals, and I want to bring them into Pokemon Home, and then bring them into Legend ZA Generation 10. I want to bring them into Pokemon Champions so I can do battle, right? I think it's important that Pokemon continues to give us new ways to play in these regions. You know, I should have said this earlier. Right now, there is a limit to how many regions a new Pokemon fan can actually experience on a Switch 2. If you buy a Switch 2 or even a Switch 1, you're limited to Legend ZA, which is not even a full Kalos game. Like, to be honest, you can play a faithful remake of Sinnoh. You can play the Legends game, right? You can play in Hisui. That's like a 100-year-old Sinnoh. You can play in Galar. You can play in Kanto. And you can play in Paldea. And there's so many regions that are, for all intents and purposes, unavailable. They might as well not even exist. And I really think the Pokemon games and the Pokemon world, being a fan of Pokemon, it's a lot different from any other, from like, I don't know, it feels different than saying like, oh, there's some Mario games that are unavailable, right? And maybe I'm wrong, but to me, it's like each of these regions, when I'm playing through Scarlet and Violet, in my mind, Hoenn exists, Johto exists, right? And they even tell us that. They actually even tell us as much. I'm playing through Legend ZA right now, and there are so many characters that mention the Galar region. There's so many characters that mention the Paldean region. There's some characters that even mention the Hoenn region, and you can't even play a Hoenn game on a Switch 2. Like, this is my gripe. You know, this is my gripe. And actually, the fact that Hoenn is mentioned, I believe it's mentioned. I don't think I made that up. The fact that Hoenn is mentioned actually tells me that this might be even realer than I think it is. Okay, but going back to the headline, right? Nintendo Creatures and Game Freak Trademark Celebration Collection. Again, what I'm imagining, Pokemon Day in February, they say, guess what? Ports are coming. Generation 10's at the end of the year. Let's celebrate. It's been 30 years. Here's a bunch of ports. And when those ports drop, we also get the Celebration Collection, celebrating the last 30 years. But it also kind of ties in to the video games. Like, what if this TCG set is, in the art itself, making reference to the game cutscenes, like the very specific cutscenes and stories that we play through in these games? I don't think we've ever seen that. I don't think we've ever seen, like, the pixel art from Emerald, just for example. Like, what if you saw Rayquaza, like the Rayquaza sprite from Emerald, as the card, as the art for the Rayquaza card? That would be really, really special. And that would definitely get me buying some booster packs, if I'm being totally honest with you. But I wanted to bring this up as well. Nintendo's detachable dual screen patent has been updated. This has been something that has been kind of in the works or in the rumor mill since 2023. And it was a couple months ago when this guy, Mike Odyssey, he put, I remember this tweet. I don't know if he broke the information or not, but just kind of confirming that there were some updates to this Nintendo Switch 2 patent for a second screen. It's an attachment that plugs in, and now your Switch 2 has two screens, right? Essentially, what I'm describing, it would essentially be, and none of this has been announced, but what I'm describing, or what I'm, I guess, thinking about when I'm describing this, is this would give us a very seamless way to get 3DS and DS ports. Maybe not DS ports, because they'd have to scale that up so big to make use of the full Switch 2 screen. But the 3DS, you can upscale that to HD, and now you've got these beautiful HD ports of Pokemon X and Y, Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I guess that's not that many games. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, that would be nice. And then they could even port Black and White, Black 2 and White 2, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Platinum. There's so many cool games that could very easily make their way onto the Switch 2. And yes, half of this video is me pleading and trying to make my case for why I want to play these games on my Switch 2. But it's exciting to see this headline, right? I'm not losing sleep over this. I'm not. I've been burned in the past. But I really, really want to see some Pokemon ports in the next couple months. Pokemon Day. It's November 26th right now. Pokemon Day is literally 3 months away. Like, come on. Give us some Pokemon ports. I want to be able to play these games. I really do. I really want to be able to play these games. How they'll actually give us these games, I have no idea. But to be able to play through Emerald again and get access to these post-game legendaries alongside Groudon in full, these games would be so bright. The colors would be so gorgeous. I want to capture Regice again, Registeel. Dude, there's nothing like this Groudon right here. So let me know in the comments. Do you think this celebration collection has any indication or any relation to a Pokemon video game port? Let me know in the comments. Also, shout out to you guys. We're Dusty Topic now. Thanks for all the support. Really appreciate all the support on the channel. Love you guys.